Morning, saddle hunters, and like myself, new saddle hunters. I don't have much experience in a saddle. I spent a little bit of the off season making a DIY saddle, and it was okay. And I ended up getting an H2. Let me tell you, that's worth the money. But we'll talk about that in a minute. The main reason for this video is I just ordered, back on Christmas Day, 2 sets of steps, 2 perches, and 2 beanies, in hopes that during the off season my son and I can practice and get better and get good at climbing, and he and I will be ready to just take off and hunt wild next year. First things first, the step, you've all seen them, you've all seen videos, and I think I've watched just about every video on YouTube about the Wild Edge Stepps over the last year. And I feel like that I won't have any problem with the knots, because I've watched every video. I'm a 21 year career fireman, pretty diverse with ropes and knots and stuff like that. So I feel like that I'll catch on pretty good. It might prove me wrong. First things first, I've put a little bit of hockey tape on the first set, just to quiet them down a little bit. Steps are really, really well made. I don't have any experience with them. This is my first go around with basically everything saddle hunting. Steps are really, really, really well made. And we'll see how they lock down to the tree. And the perch, y'all have all seen the perch. This is actually a new prototype with the wings on it. I don't know how well you can see. We'll see it in a minute. This is probably going to be a 2-part recording, because I've been stuck in the house with strep throat and it's raining. It's been raining for 2 or 3 days. So I'll finish this up when I go outside in the next couple of days and actually get to wrap them around a tree. But this thing appears to be like rock solid. There's no crazy welds. It's really nice piece of aluminum. We'll talk more about this in a minute too. The main thing I want to talk about is, man, the customer service that I got from Wild Edge was really good. Started off, I ordered Christmas Day. Seems like forever ago when you say Christmas Day 2019, but that's really just like a month and some change ago. So I ordered Christmas Day, and I knew beforehand, before I ordered, I knew they were going to be off for the Christmas holidays and New Year's, and weren't going to be back until like the 6th. Okay, well, after they got back in, there was, every time I would inquire, I'd get a quick, immediate response. They were having some issues with their manufacturer. I think they're out of Texas. I might be wrong. So they were having a little bit of a delay in that. But there was never, never any issues. It was, every time I asked, I got a great response. I was pleased with everything. And during the meantime, I got to talking with Zach. You've probably seen his videos if you've looked up anything on Wild Edge Stepps. He's got the Kydex step holster, and he's actually got a couple of videos of the first prototypes that he did, putting the wings on for added stability. And through this whole process of he and I talking, I was asking him questions and this, that, and other. Well, somehow I got lucky enough. He sent me 2 of the prototypes to try and to give him my feedback on them. And we'll see when I get them hooked to a tree. Now, I can't compare the old one to the new one because I've never been on any of them. I can just give an honest critique, or what do you want to call it, on the new one. And the only other issue I had is last Friday when my box came in, I was headed out of town. So I intercepted the UPS truck, and I opened up the box, and I had all 20 steps, the 2 perches, and my 2 beanie hats, one for myself and one for my son. There weren't any bags. So I contacted Wild Edge, and I contacted Zach because I've been talking to him pretty regular. And I was under the assumption they were supposed to come with bags, and they are. So that day, they got on top of things. And I asked before they ever got sent out if it was possible, having the steps in hand, I could see now that I would rather have a 10-step bag and 2 5-step bags. And I was going to see if there was any possible way that could happen. And I told them I didn't mind paying the difference in the price. Not one bit. So they said, no problem. That day, they sent me out a 10-piece bag and 2 5-piece bags. And 3 days later, it's in my mailbox. So Wild Edge is phenomenal as far as I'm concerned right now. I haven't had any issues with them. The other part of my arsenal, like I said earlier, is this H2. And like I said, all I've ever really had any dealings with is a DIY saddle that I made last year. And it wasn't bad. I didn't know what I know now. And it was a little bit small. And I had some hip pinch. It was not uncomfortable to the point where I had to get down. I mean, I killed my biggest buck to date out of that saddle this year, 3 days before my H2 came in. And the day before that, I basically sat all day. So the H2 saddle, freaking awesome saddle. My only gripe, and I see it on a lot of the H2, a lot of the critiques people do, is the buckle is a little hard to adjust. Say if you go from bulky clothes when it's cold to like what I'm wearing now. If I wanted to go climb in a tree right now, I'd have to adjust the buckle, and it's a little hard to adjust. But that being said, once it gets adjusted, it's not going to slip on you. So I don't find it's a problem doing a little bit of adjusting, and it's solid. I did put some loops on the back of here with paracord, and I did that so I could take my 1 step that I'm going to use as my perch step. I can set it right here just like that, and I can carry it all the way up the tree with me until I get ready to set my perch. The only other thing I did, I have done the Utilibridge clone, and I generally run the same tether, same bridge length, the whole time. And I know there's some gripe on, well, why do you want it adjustable, blah, blah, blah. I don't necessarily want it adjustable because I'm generally right about there with it. But what I really like is, as Greg calls transport mode, when you pull this thing in, when you're walking in, there's nothing flapping anywhere. It's awesome. So, as soon as I get up a tree and get some footage of that, I'm going to put all this together. I'm going to load it up. Live wild.